I saw a really good concert, George. The Who are back together, and they sound great.
The Who?
Yes, The Who. And speaking of yes, they might be getting back together, too.
Who might get back together?
No, George. The Who is back together.
I don't know. Who?
No, George. We've been over this before. The Who is a band. Who's in charge in China?
I still don't understand. Who's in charge in China?
Yes, he is.
Who?
Yes. And the band is The Who.
The Who? I couldn't guess who.
No, George. Guess Who is another band. But they're not back together.
I can't figure out who's together and who's not.
No, George. Who's in charge in China?
I still don't know. We're talking about China the country, not China the wrestler.
Yes. And who's in charge?
I haven't got a clue.
No, George. Clue is that board game we sometimes play.
I get so confused when we talk about China. I'm okay with Pakistan. The guy in Pakistan's my sheriff, and he gave his rival the Bhutto. That one I understand.
Well, that's good, George. We're making progress.
As long as it doesn't change. I also remember the guy in Iraq. He's my lackey. So that one I understand.
That's good, George.
I can't get this China thing. Who's in charge in China?
That's right.
What's right?
What you just said.
All I said was, who's in charge in China?
And you're right.
I'm glad I'm right, but I still don't get it. The concert you went to, who did you see?
No, George. I didn't see who. Who's in charge in China?
Who?
Yes. And when is the premiere?
When is he what?
He's the premier.
Who's the premier?
No, George. Who's in charge in China?
Who?
Yes, who?
I don't know. Who?
You know who.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You met him.
When?
No, you didn't meet when. You met who.
I'm so confused. I don't know who I met or when.
This isn't that hard, George. Who's in charge in China?
You keep asking me that.
I'm not asking you. I'm reminding you.
About who?
Yes.
Who?
Yes, who?
I still don't know who.
Well, you've met him, George, so you better not ever say you don't know who. It'll look bad.
What'll look bad?
If you say you don't know who.
But I don't know who.
But you do know who, George. You've met him.
When?
No, George. You didn't meet when. You met who.
I don't know when I met who I met.
That's right.
What's right?
You don't know when. You do know who. Anyway, I just spoke with John Yu.
I'm not John.
I know, George. I spoke with John Yu at the Justice Department.
I'm not at the Justice Department.
Of course not. You is.
I is?
No, you. And he said to say hello.
Who?
Not who, you.
Who, me?
No, George, you're not who. Who's in charge in China?
Please stop asking me that.
I'm not asking you, George. I'm just reminding you.
Then please stop reminding me.
I just don't want you to say the wrong thing, George.
I wouldn't do that.
There's a little time before the press conference. Would you like to see a movie?
What have you got?
I just picked up this old James Bond film, Dr. No.
Doctor Who?
No, George. Doctor Who is an English TV show. The Bond movie is called Dr. No.
Okay, I guess that's all right then. And what was the name of that band you said might be getting back together?
Yes.
Yes, what's their name?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, that's it. I guess you weren't a big fan.
Maybe I was, but I'm afraid to ask who, or we're going to start talking about China again. Lately I get so confused when we talk.
It's just payback for that C student comment.
What?
Nothing, George. Don't think about it. Let's just watch the movie. But don't forget, who's in charge in China?
Who's in charge in China?